Hi, I'm Heather Hubbard. I went from being a lawyer and partner at one of the largest firms in America to becoming an online personality and successful entrepreneur. I know what it takes to rise to the top. I also know all too well the toll it can take on your health and personal life. So, how do you shine bright without burning out? How do you chase joy while achieving success? You're listening to the Hustle and Flow podcast. Welcome back to Hustle and Flow. I am your host, Heather Hubbard. And if you listened or watched the last episode, you might be wondering, why are you coming back with an episode? It's not January 13th. Is this the new format? No, it is not. In fact, the new format is probably going to be a little bit later, maybe January 27th. We'll see. We're working on a whole new studio look. Everything's going to be set up different. So for those of you who watch on YouTube, it's going to be a very different visual. And we're going to have new intro music. Even if you're listening on audio, everything's going to be different. If you are not on my email list or don't follow me on social media, you may also not have seen some of the cover concepts that we are considering. So new podcast cover, new everything. And I'm so excited about it. I can't wait to get it to you, but I'm also not going to force it or rush it. I want it to be not perfect because, as a perfectionist, that's sometimes what I can aim for. I'm not aiming for perfect, but I also want to deliver the new format to you when everything is in really good shape, and I'm really excited to share it all at once. So a little bit delayed, but I did want to actually come back on here and do another episode. It was not planned, but since it's going to be pushed out a little bit more, I wanted to come on and share an overview of 2025 and 2026. And what I mean by that, because throughout 2025, I shared with you my goals and my progress. I do them in thirds for the year. So instead of quarterly, I do 4 month chunks. I shared with you the first one and the second one, and I'm wrapping up the third one. So what I want to share with you is overall the wins for the year, lessons learned for the year, and then also the focus for 2026. And to some degree, I guess it's behind the scenes to share what worked, what didn't work. But I'm doing it more for you to see how I structure and go after goals so that you too might be able to make some tweaks to your own plans and achieve bigger things. So let's break down 2025. I didn't have a word for the year. I don't always have a word for the year, but the word that kept coming up for me every time I would go to Miraval and lead my Joy in the Journey retreats was expansion. That was the word that I kept getting when I would set intentions. And it was the word that kept getting mirrored back to me, like the exact word mirrored back to me from others on the property, other specialists on the property. So that very much did feel like my word for the year. And what's interesting about that, granted, I have no idea how you perceive things and what you're seeing or witnessing, right? No one is looking at us under a microscope. Even when they do, especially like online, it's like this one moment. And and that can be good or bad. But even then, like when things go viral, they're just getting a very small piece. And this is how things get taken out of context all the time. For me, like I'm really seeing it. And for you, like you may not even be paying that much attention. And when you are, I don't know what you're seeing or getting. But oftentimes when we think, or when I think of expansion, I think of something that is growing, that's really large, and it's something that might be visible. But so much of my expansion was an inside job this year. And I did a lot of setting things up for the expansion, the external expansion that I know is coming. So with that, I had a few different goals or priorities for the year, and one was my health. I really wanted to focus on my health, and that meant I wanted to lose weight. It meant I wanted to be more active. I am just super excited, floored a bit, honestly. I didn't even know if it was possible at this point that I lost 33 pounds. But more importantly than that, I feel so good in my body. I physically feel better. I can just get around so much easier. I feel more energetic. I have more pep in my step, even with the ankle brace that I am wearing. I did so much dancing this year. I injured myself dancing this year. I was not able to dance after, I guess my last dance was maybe end of September, beginning of October. So it's been a few months since I've been able to dance, and I've really, really missed that. But I did have a very successful ankle surgery. PT is going great. My attitude going into it, because where they had to clean out my ankle, not just, I also had a torn ligament. They said that was actually caused from when I was a dancer, cheerleader in high school. And so my mindset was, well, I'm going to feel like I have a high schooler's ankle, right? Like that was my theory going into it. I'm going to have a 16-year-old ankle after this. And I chose a physical therapy place that really specializes in sports and athletes. I was like, I'm going to be training like I am going to be in the Olympics. And I really have shown up with that attitude. I'm having so much fun in PT. It's kind of like my dance outlet. I love everyone there, the camaraderie. I love their competitiveness. I truly have so much fun when I go. And I have really pushed it, and I think I've excelled. It's been a great place for me to actually move my body, to be competitive while also healing my ankle. And it's actually been really good. It's been a lot of fun. I am really excited, though, to get back to dancing. Not sure yet when that will be, but I really do think that my health took a major, major turn this year. And I am so absolutely grateful for that. Huge, huge win after so many years of shitty health. So I am going to take it. In the business, my main priority was working on a book. And on top of that, I just wanted to get the business kind of like up and running again, really get all the ducks in a row, like just really moving forward, full steam ahead. That totally, totally happened. And then the third priority was going to be audience growth. But if you listen to the previous episodes, you know I pivoted with that and turned to a rebrand. And the rebrand was released early mid November, so not that long ago, but we've been working on it since like May or June. And so it was really exciting to see that finally be able to be shared with the world. But again, that expansion, so much of that was like internal. It wasn't just new fonts, new photos, new colors, new taglines. It was really about embodying the next level. So the internal leveling up happened before the external leveling up. I feel like 2027 is when all of the external stuff is going to be seen. And I'm really excited to see how you all react to that. From a numbers perspective, I had to look some of this up to write it down as to what happened, because the goals are one thing, what it takes to reach it is another. And this year actually had a lot of projects as opposed to goals. If you know anything about my planning systems, you understand the difference. If you don't, part of getting everything going again, and one thing that I did not anticipate but came up through everything that's just been happening with 2025. And as I'm working with others' businesses, and just a lot of my friends are entrepreneurs. So talking to them and what their businesses looked like, I really diversified the portfolio and accepted and embraced. This is one of the lessons for the year is that nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. This business, I've had it for 11 years now, which is wild. And there were times when I focused on things that I thought like they were forever gone and they would never come back around. But it's still the core of me and my values and what I believe. And so getting to just be able to use all of that and bring it all back in a diversified way is really cool, I think. So, Goals Reimagined, that was what it was called in 2014, 2015. And that's what it was for a few years. And then I started doing Life and Law Live. And so we were just doing live versions of that. And now that it's back to digital, I called it Goals Reimagined again. Obviously, I'm not just catering to lawyers anymore. So that's another reason. But if you were curious how the entire planning system works, that's coming back very, very soon. Is it next week? Maybe. Yes, this is coming out December 30th. So next week, you can actually purchase that and at 50% off. I'll show you that in a little bit later. But let's talk about these numbers. I recorded 46 episodes for Hustle and Flow, and I had 21 guests. Hustle and Flow means so much to me. I love that I get to be in community with you. I know it's weird. I'm either in your ear or you're watching me on a screen, and I don't get to see you, but I do feel you. That may sound really strange and odd, but I totally feel you. And I just love this community. I love being able to interview other amazing people. I love curating and finding people that I really think you would benefit from and you would want to hear from. So 21 amazing guests. And I wanted to share for you the top episodes of the year. They're different for the audio version versus the YouTube version, which has always been the case. They're different audiences. I get it. So I'm going to share both with you, but there is an overall winner because she, and I say she because she was a guest, because she was in the top three for both the podcast that is on audio only and the video version on YouTube. So I do think we can crown an overall winner. But first up, let's go through on YouTube. The top three in order from like number one was Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, the marriage update. The second one was Eliminating Overwhelm with Kelly Nolan. And the third was Tennessee's first transgender elected official with Olivia Hill. So those were our top three on YouTube. The top three on audio only. Number one was, and this is giving it away, Eliminating Overwhelm with Kelly Nolan. The second was Reclaiming Your Identity related to is it a midlife crisis or an awakening? And the third was Beyond Burnout, from surviving to thriving. So clearly, drumroll, what you all loved the most on Hustle and Flow in 2025 was Eliminating Overwhelm with Kelly Nolan. If you have not listened or watched that episode, I'm guessing you have since it was the most popular, go check it out. She is fabulous. She also happens to be a former attorney, and that was episode 246. So shout out to Kelly. Thanks so much for coming on Hustle and Flow. Other wins and highlights for the year. I did this with my Joy in the Journey group. So I do the retreats at Miraval, but this year we've had monthly Zoom calls and I lead them through different exercises. And so for our year-end ritual that we just did a week or two ago, we did wins and highs for the year and lessons learned. We did a lot more, but those were two things that we did. And so I wrote mine down as well. And I thought I would share them on the podcast. So, as you are wrapping up your 2025, before we go planning for 2026, make sure that you take a moment and really reflect and review. It's interesting. So many people, even people on that call, said rightfully that 2025 was in so many ways a really, really shitty year. The economy was terrible. Politically, just from a social justice perspective, horrific. The ICE raids, the attack on DEI and the LGBTQ community, it's just been depressing, right? But there are wins and highlights to be had. And sometimes we have to dig through the entire year to look back and see what they were. But we all have those highlights and let's hold on to those. Like let's burn 2025 to the ground. But let's also really rejoice and reflect and cherish the wonderful moments that we did experience. For me, this was just the way that I wrote them down. I had two successful surgeries, like just so grateful that those went so well. I got the opportunity to say goodbye to my grandfather on his deathbed. And for anyone who has experienced that, it is really beautiful. It is so beautiful to be able to spend time with someone and truly say goodbye. I've had the opportunity in the past, but it was always with a lot of other people around. And this time I went and spent the night with him and really got a lot of one-on-one time with him in those final moments in the week before he passed. And so that was wonderful. I inherited his cat, Lilybet, and also a desk that was his father's. And it's probably going to be part of the new setup for Hustle and Flow. So you'll get to see it. I had a fabulous, fabulous, so much fun trip to New York City in the summer with my brother and my sister-in-law and my nephew. And we just had an absolute blast. That was a highlight for the year. As I mentioned, I lost 33 pounds, which just so excited about that. I did a complete rebrand for the website. I made real meaningful progress on the book. I hosted two, not one, but two Miraval retreats with 16 amazing women. I hosted my very first alumni retreat, the Happy, Healthy, Wealthy retreat at Miraval as well for my Joy in the Journey alumni. So I had a group come for that. And that was just so delightful, so fun. And I think the biggest win truly was I had the most amazing clients this year. I had a few different masterminds. I had the retreats. I had one private coaching client for 6 months. And I just have to say, I've had so many years of attracting some people who are a good fit and others who were not. And so, you've got your favorite clients. I just have to say this year, like all of my clients were amazing. And truly, it felt so easy and so joyful. And just more of that, please. More of that, please. Like perfect alignment, perfect fit, amazing clients. Just truly such a joy. And as you know, from working with clients, if you well, or even colleagues, anyone, you just know how much better your life is when you are working with people that you just absolutely adore and love. So fabulous, fabulous, fabulous clients this year. All right, lessons learned. This one is a constant lesson. I'm always trying to learn, but it really, really, I think, went on a deeper level this year. And that was trying to control the timing of things is not worth the stress. Obviously, we can't always control timing, but I'm a big planner. I'm big on deadlines. But I did learn this year that sometimes things don't fall into place the way that you want them to. And it becomes pressure filled and it becomes forcing. And that does not fit with my value systems or the way I work any longer. I have shed that. that has fallen away. So even like with the podcast, I had a date that we were working towards. And when it became clear that it would be forcing as opposed to allowing, I was able to say, well, we're just going to allow that to be a later date. And I did that with a lot of things this year. And it just makes my life easier. It just reduces my stress and the stress of everyone I'm working with. And I don't know that other people care that much, you know? Like it's just not the end of the world. So, really allowing more than trying to force. Also, the lesson that no experience is wasted. Within the business, there are so many projects and programs and products that I've had over the years. And many of them I thought were just one like moment, one blip in time. And I've learned that that's not true. It all came back this year. It all came around this year. None of it was wasted. Also with the book, and I know I've not really shared the progress on the book, but I my goal for the year was actually to get a book deal, and then I revised that where it was like, no, I'm just going to get a book agent. And I let that go again because it was being pressured, it was being forced. I am making meaningful progress on this book, and I'm not going to force it based upon made up dates or deadlines. I'm going to allow, I'm not going to force. The book has changed in many ways from book chapters, summaries, angles, and it can be really frustrating to have to go back and feel like you're reworking it. And it's like, well, that chapter was wasted or that idea was wasted. But I'm realizing none of it's wasted. I'm learning craft. It's all coming back together. It just sometimes takes a bit of a detour in order for it to make sense and come together. And I'm just realizing that nothing is wasted. And just being in that space of allowing as opposed to forcing allows you to, or has allowed me to really appreciate and be grateful for every experience as opposed to perhaps being a little bit more critical or judging those experiences. I also know based on my age, I often feel like there's been lost time. And I suspect everyone feels that way with the pandemic and just the economy, and just knowing that nothing is wasted. Nothing is wasted. We don't have to force, we can allow. Also, really learning that productivity does not equal success and productivity does not equal excellence. Again, a lesson I have been learning over and over again, but I truly was able to learn from and realize this year that some of my best creative work in the business, with the book, with everything, it comes more from spaciousness than productivity or what our culture or our industries or society would say is productive. That has really been a lesson learned that I produce my best work when I am not productive. All right. This one was interesting to me. Trying to be a good feminist is causing me to waste time and energy that is counterproductive. For those of us who are overthinkers and who really want to get things right, I have just realized that I am truly doing mental gymnastics, trying to make sense of things and trying to be a good feminist. And I am a good feminist. If I'm committed to my values and I am showing up authentically at just in so many different ways, like there is no such thing as the perfect feminist. And the patriarchy is winning the more I waste time and energy and I am stressed out and anxious over am I doing this right to be a good feminist. So I just learned to let that shit go. I didn't fully let it go. It's still there. I know it's there. But I think this is the first year I really was like, life is too short for me to be stressing out about whether or not I'm doing this right. I'm a goddamn powerful woman who gives a shit. That's a good feminist. And then last part of the expansion is that showing up as if, showing up as if I'm already that person has helped me feel more like that person, has helped me embody being more that person, and it has allowed me to create from that perspective. A lot of times I think when we think of like fake it till you make it, it's about doing the things that will make you, eventually get there. And I think I really started to, one of the prompts that I use at Miraval is there's nothing left to become. Like you are already her. She has always been you. You have always been her. You've just got to let her out. Like you don't have to develop her. She's there. Like you've just got to be. And that's where I think so many of us, we don't know how to be. We feel like we have to achieve something or become something. And it's just being. And so, really allowing her to be, allowing the next level to be, allowing the vision to be has been so freeing and has actually allowed me to start to feel like, yeah, I'm not just ready for that. Like I'm just doing it. Like I'm already her. I'm already her. This is what she would do. This is how she acts. And therefore that's how I act. So not showing up from the business I have, but showing up from the bigger vision that always had. And it's like I've always been trying to achieve it or become it. And it's like, no, I'm already her. It's already happening. And so that's how we're showing up. So that's been a really fun lesson to learn. So, what is next for 2026? For me, I think my word for the year, and this is a surprising one for me, is connection. I oddly feel a lot of love towards my fellow humans. In a time when I have so much anger and frustration towards a lot of humans, I also, I think, have more love for my fellow humans than I perhaps ever have before. And and I think connection for me might look different than connection for someone else, but really connecting with people on a deeper level, connecting with more people on that deeper level, like in the business and outside the business. That's like my overall theme for 2026. And for the business, the primary goal is audience growth. So, and like I said, I shared this in the last episode where I was doing an update. And if you're interested in hearing all of these episodes to kind of like watch the progression, I'll leave links in the description, in the show notes, so you can go back and listen to them if you want. But I'm now going, now that the rebrand is done, now that the book is underway, we like know where we're headed, the business is going. Next year is not about hitting goals related to that. Like we have all of our launches, we have all of our program, like it's all set. And a lot of stuff is we're pre-selling. We've already pre-sold revenue for this year, next year. And like it's just that train, like it's just going. So we're just executing on projects next year. That's just happening. So the goal, the primary focus is going to be on audience growth. I've got a few things I'm doing with that. One is the relaunch with the podcast, really growing that audience again. I am doing some stuff with Instagram and Reels that I'm super excited about bringing forth and sharing. And then we've got some launches and challenges. Super excited about all of that. And then the second one is the book. At this point, we've done so much work with the book this year that it really is getting it out. So, getting the agent, getting the book deal, and really seeing where all of that goes, which is also really, really exciting. And personally, my big priority for the year is about feeling great. Like, that's kind of the question. Do my clothes feel great? Like, when I wear them, do I feel great in them? The activities that I'm doing, the people that I'm hanging out with, my days, my work, all of it. Like, how do I feel? Does it bring me joy? Like, do I feel great? Does my body feel great? And sometimes, I get like we don't have control over that. I definitely know that health happens and you're not going to necessarily feel your best. But I'm talking about the things I do have control over. Am I doing things that make my body feel great? Am I putting food in my body that makes me feel great? Am I allowing myself to have experiences that makes me feel great? My nails. I love getting my nails done. I love playing with the colors. You can see them on YouTube. Does it make me feel great? That's what 2026 is about. Does it make me feel great? I am leaning into great about what makes me feel great. like my social advocacy, my social justice work, does it make me feel great? I want to feel great. So that is my goal. If you are interested in planning for 2026, please come join me for my free Best Year, Best You challenge. It is back. It is a planning party. We are going to have so much fun. Every single day, I'm going to have a live stream at 12 p.m. Central. There will also be replays. There are worksheets each and every day. There are prompts to help you. If you're not a planner, great. It's still going to give you intentions. Like it's going to set guardrails for you. You don't have to have a big plan. You can just have these very specific intentions for staying focused on what you want and what you need for the new year. If you're a huge planner and you've already got 2026 planned, come join us because it's going to let you test it, audit it, make sure that it's the right plan. I will be doing that with my own plans. I plan in November, December, and then in January, like when I do these things with you all, like I go through my own system to make sure like are we still good? Like before we get going, like I want to test it. I want to audit it. So you can come do that. And it is the first week of January. So it's January 5th through the 9th. There are going to be prizes. The grand prize is quarterly power hours with me. So every single quarter for all of 2026, you will get 1 hour with me to work on whatever you want, talk about whatever you want. We can strategize. Like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's make these 2026 goals a huge success for you. So you might win that. It's normally like, that's generally like almost $4,000. Those are generally $997 a session. You get 4. Again, absolutely free, but you do have to register. So go to bestyearbestyou.com, bestyearbestyou.com to register. And if you don't remember that, you can also just go to my website. There's a banner running right now, and you can click on that. It'll get you to the website to register. I'm so excited. We are going to have so much fun. So go ahead and reflect on 2025, those lessons learned, those highlights, those meaningful moments. And let's get ready for a shift in 2026. We have no control over what's going to happen with this administration, with the economy, but we can control ourselves. And that's what we're going to focus on next week. So sign up, register, and I hope to see you at Best Year, Best You. Thank you so much for joining me for this week's podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, give the episode a like and leave a comment below so we can keep the conversation going. Also, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss a future episode or announcement. Listening on Apple, Spotify, or another podcast app, you can watch the video and join in the after show conversation by visiting hustleandflowpodcast.com.